Your morning blitz begins now.
Get that chance. Go play for a national championship. We're going to swing as hard as we possibly can. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
On the Blitz.
This is a bomb. 62 yards.
62 yards, spotted at the 48-yard line with 5 seconds left. It is downwind, but this is an awful lot to ask. Mitch Jeter. And that's blocked at the line of scrimmage. And the Huskies are celebrating the biggest upset in their school's history in Notre Dame's home opener here.
Oh, $1.4 million to lose to Northern Illinois. Wow. That's what the Notre Dame Irish paid them.
Upset of the year.
Well, I was happy to see Michigan eat it over the weekend. That was a blast.
They're going to have a long year.
Yeah, they are.
Although that was, Texas, right?
Yeah, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. Texas is good, though.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, they at least played a competitor.
Correct.
I mean, you got to give Michigan that.
Yeah.
Notre Dame just received an ass whipping.
Dude, does Freeman get fired?
No, I don't think he gets fired, but I'll tell you what, South Bend, Indiana is not a good place to be.
Oh, my gosh. I was stunned. I'm just watching that. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I felt like I was watching App State, Michigan again.
I was at a wedding, and I saw that score, and I'm like, closer than it should be, but okay. And then, I looked again, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah. It was
our Buckeye legend, Jeff Logan, I'm sure has a great case of schadenfreude because he hates Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I felt bad for Marcus Freeman, but
it was a rough go. Rough way to go.
Wow.
You guys, I tried my first sniff spot experience yesterday. Charlie and I.
What?
You know how do you know the app? It's called Sniff Spot.
Oh, yeah.
And you can rent somebody's property to let your dog run.
Yeah.
And, people will go from anywhere from a small backyard that you can throw your dog in the back to, large property. So we picked this spot in Galena. I think it was 4 acres, completely fenced. And we're like, this is awesome because we always have to walk Moses on a leash because he's a beagle. He'll take off, and he has taken off before. So we got there, gorgeous property, wooded, plenty of places to run and sniff. They had goats, chickens, and a couple cats on their property, and super nice. So we go there, we let Moses off the leash, and he sniffs around some, and then winds up being absolutely hyper-focused on the cat that was underneath their back deck and spent the time under the back deck. We rented this place, this enormous 4-acre place, for $15 for the hour, which is cheap and great. And this dog was just squeezing under the deck. That's it. He did take a tour of the property a few times, and that was great, but then that was it. It was just a beeline toward the deck. He was just whiny and barky under their deck. So I'm sorry to Galena Sniff Spot people. You are really nice. They were great people, but they were probably like, what is happening? What is happening? So anyway, the Sniff Spot experience, although gorgeous property, does not work for Moses when there's a cat involved. Under the deck. We spent $15 for him to be under someone's back deck and us having to try to coax him out of there.
Well, I mean, wow. For him, it was a shaded area.
Well, for him, it was exactly what he wanted out of the hour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For us, we're like, you're supposed to be running. You're supposed to be getting tired.
Right? Run free, my friend.
Anyway, it was interesting, but it was a great experience. If anybody was thinking of doing Sniff Spot, absolutely 100% recommend if your dog's not, focused on cats.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
I did not even know such a thing existed. But
it does. Yes. Yeah, there are tons of properties. People will rent you their property for an hour at a time, and you can let your dog off the leash and let him go.
Did not know. What'd you do all weekend, Thick Rick, other than football?
Was there anything to do other than football?
I mean, for me there was. I mean, I had a wedding last minute that I did because I had to. I got asked to fill in at the last minute. It's one of the only times I've ever done a wedding on less than 24-hour notice.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It was. I mean, the people were nice. Like, I felt bad. Like, I wanted to, but you know what? I'm so jaded with my life right now that, like, when I'm like, met the groom, literally the groom and the bride for the first time while they were on the street walking towards the ceremony. That's the first time that I said hi to them.
Oh, my gosh.
So, I mean, and they were nice people, but, like, I went into the reception and, you know,
Did you say, are you sure you want to do this? Did that come out of your mouth?
That's where I'm going.
Oh, gotcha.
So I walk up and I talk to him and everything, like, right as the reception started, like, thank you so much. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm like, in my hand as I'm shaking the groom's hand, I'm like, in my head going, make sure she's the right one, dude. You can't get the time back. You're going to lose on this.
A little late, though, after the ceremony, right?
Right. Like, I hope it's worth it, because it's usually not.
Oh, gosh, that's funny. They picked you in an interesting choice for DJ.
I gave my toast, and I was just about to go, just so you know, I'm glad we're all gathered here. This is my time to let you know that love is the greatest lie anyone's ever told you. When she says yes, she only means it for a minute, and then her anxiety kicks in, and her bipolar mind goes off, and she's going to want to get out of this. Instead, I went, here's a reading from the book of 1 Corinthians.
Jeez. Oh, my gosh. Doug texted, and he said, I went to a family reunion in Kentucky and woke up this morning with a cold sore on my lip. Coincidence? I think not.
It's a good chance that's rite of passage down there.
Yeah, it was football wall to wall for me all weekend, all day Saturday and Sunday. It was awesome. Although, oh my gosh, terrible news out of the NFL yesterday. Just a tragedy.
Yeah, the Cowboys signed Prescott to a ridiculous contract.
I thought it was great. I got no problem with that. No, Kendrick Lamar is going to play the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
It's Rock Nation, baby.
Horrible.
That's what happens when you let Jay-Z book the Super Bowl.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I'm sure Beyonce will show up too.
Oh my gosh.
Kanye. Kenya, I'm going to let you finish, but Beyonce was the greatest video ever made. So she should perform.
Give me hum a couple Kendrick Lamar hits for me, will ya?
Kendrick Lamar, what's he do?
Honestly, because I'm not sure, but I know he's super popular, so I'm sure there are...
I guess his biggest one is probably Pray For Me with from the Black Panther soundtrack a few years back. The one that everybody would know. He did the stuff with Imagine Dragons, which was actually pretty good. I don't hate Kendrick Lamar. I just don't like Kendrick Lamar as the Super Bowl halftime entertainment.
No?
No, because there's so many other... You want to do something rhythmic? You could go Jelly Roll or Post Malone, and you could get so many different artists from so many different genres to collab, and it would be a fantastic show.
Be humble.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Oh, I know this.
Be humble. Sit down. Be humble.
Yeah, I'm good.
From maybe
Nothing
from
gets me
TikTok.
fired up with an NFL game like Be Humble. It's right up there with Coldplay Fix You.
I don't know, man. He's really popular, so...
Yeah.
I mean, he's not what you guys want, I know. Or me.
Well...
I would pick... I don't know who I would pick. I would pick Jelly Roll, probably.
I would go Jelly Roll or Post Malone. That's where I would go.
I like that.
Because you can bring in, with Post Malone, you could bring in Ozzy, you could bring in Morgan Wallen, you could bring in Kendrick Lamar, you could bring in whoever you wanted, and it would be a good show.
Bring in Metallica or AC/DC?
No, that's that's what you should do while those bands are still alive, but we're not going to do that because they're not signed to Rock Nation. Morning Blitz Trivia, what do you got?
All right, $25 up for grabs to waterbeds and stuff if you're the first one to text in the correct answer. Today is September 9th, and today happens to be the most common day for this. There are more of these on September 9th than any other day of the year. What is it? Tell us at 99-700. If you're first, you get the gift card.
Yeah. It is your Morning Blitz 624 with Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, and Lewis. Kyle said, hi all. I have been on the night shift for the past 2 months and moving back to day shift today, so happy to hear you all on the radio again. Welcome back, Kyle.
Yeah,
Nice.
What's up, Kyle?
Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, brother.
Must have had nothing else to do. Kidding. Kidding. That show we love when there's nothing else on. Morning Blitz Trivia.
It's like the continental breakfast.
It is.
It's better than
nothing.
All right, our trivia question this morning was, today is September 9th, and today is the most common day for what? And the answer is birthdays.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah. September 9th is the most common birthday in the United States. That's according to the Social Security Administration. Number one. September 19th is next, and then September 12th. In fact, And this is bizarre. The top 10 are actually all days that fall between September 9th and September 20th.
So everybody's getting it on around Christmas?
Yes, sir. That's right. If you count backwards 40 weeks, you're in December, and people have more time on their hands. People drink more in December. And people are just more loving in the month of December. And so people get pregnant in December.
Well,
lots of them, evidently. Yeah.
Well, Christmas gift that kept on giving for 18 years at least.
Least common month to be born in is February. Obviously, there are fewer days. April is next, followed by November. I don't know why. I guess Thanksgiving isn't a time for... You got to wait till after Thanksgiving before you start getting time to have sex.
Thanksgiving used to be my favorite holiday.
Thanksgiving?
It did.
It used to be. What happened?
I don't know. Times change.
It's all about food and football. It's the best.
It just,
Maybe not for Browns fans. But
I think certain times and certain situations cause things to take on different meanings than what they originally intended for them. I think everybody has that, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? You have that one. Probably everybody in their life has that one or two Christmases that they hold above every other Christmas.
Yeah.
Probably the same thing can be said for birthdays or...
Yeah.
Well, the following people's parents were doing it around Christmas. Adam Sandler, Michael Bublé, Colonel Sanders. Colonel Sanders' parents...
Must be like 200 years old.
Wait, he's a real guy?
Hugh Grant. His parents were getting frisky.
Hugh Grant.
Michelle Williams. Let's see, anybody?
Wait, from
Eric Stone Street from Modern Family.
Is that Michelle Williams from Dawson's Creek?
I guess. I don't know. She's
and
an
Brokeback
actress.
Mountain? Yeah.
So there you go.
That's...
Man, you really don't want to think about your parents getting busy.
Nope.
You really don't.
No. No. You're right.
Anyway.
Ugh. That's the perfect way to describe it. Ugh.
Yes, Colonel Sanders was a real person. He was born in 1890.
Huh. Mm-hmm. I thought he was just a made-up...
You really did think he was made up?
For KFC.
Oh, he was always based on a real...
He founded
Do you guys
Kentucky
remember
Fried Chicken.
Do you guys remember when KFC got in trouble? Because they started KFC since the dawn of his existence has been Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
A few years back when the health craze was going on and fast food was getting a bad name, what are you having? KFC. What is that? Isn't that bad for you? No, it's kitchen fresh chicken.
Oh my gosh.
No.
It's still deep fried. Oh yeah, they got lamb basted and that's why it
Kitchen
went back to
fresh.
just to KFC. But yeah, the kitchen for a while, Kentucky Fried was translated into kitchen fresh, which
That's funny.
clearly that was not the overall intent there,
Right.
but it didn't necessarily work out the way they saw it going in their head.
Jerry McCormick. So that's me. He was born on September 12th.
Nice, happy birthday.
Yeah. If we forget on Thursday, happy birthday, Jerry.
We know what your parents were doing.
Did you ever ask your parents if it was just a quick thing, or did they, maybe Dad set the mood, light some candles,
No, but one thing, my
soft
niece,
music in the background?
my niece, when she was first told about sex when she was a kid, she had she was one of 4 at the time, and she goes, "You and Dad did that 4 times." She was horrified.
That's great. Yeah. And do you know for sure that your parents got married before you were conceived?
Oh, that's true.
Things.
That's true. Although it can work out, though.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know for sure.
I had a friend of mine that I love dearly that he met a girl at a karaoke. He was hosting karaoke night. Met a girl, drove her to the auto dealership closest to the bar, parked behind the back, and proceeded to entertain her with the greatest 3 minutes she's ever had in her life. Hadn't seen her for a while. She came into the karaoke bar one day and she said, "I just want you to know I'm late." And he's like, "Oh, well, you better get out of here then. We're close." Not that kind of late. And they've been together ever since.
Jeez.
So it does work out.
All right. Well, happy birthday to everybody celebrating their birthday today. Congrats to Brittany Smith of Lancaster. She was the first one to text in the correct trivia answer. And she's got the $25 to waterbeds and stuff.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Who are you talking to over there?
Vic.
Oh, my.
We're warming up for our discussion in about 25 minutes from now, and he's...
You asked me a question.
I
gave you
did,
an
but
answer.
he got all passionate, and I'm like, hold on.
Isn't that what you want?
Yes, but I want it 25 minutes.
Okay,
on.
I got something. It was 10 years ago on this very day that iPhone users woke up to an entire U2 album that they did not ask for, downloaded to their iTunes accounts.
That's hilarious.
September 9th, 2014.
I remember
It wasn't just iTunes. It wasn't just iPhone users. It was anybody who had iTunes on any device.
Yes. So they thought it was going to be this amazing thing. U2 teams with Apple, and everybody gets this Songs of Innocence for free. So they were quite surprised when they got an incredible amount of backlash. So apparently this gimmick that they pulled went over like a lead balloon. It really did. I mean, I got it on my iTunes. I didn't want it. I guess mainly users felt like Apple was playing a little fast and loose with everyone's privacy without asking permission first. That if they would have said, do you want to opt into the free album, then people could have said yes or no. Instead, what they had to do a week later is give irate customers explicit instructions on how to remove the album from their accounts because people didn't want it. So
I remember
anyway,
that.
was 10 years ago today, guys.
You know what I find funny? Most Americans love something for free. We've all been out for the Blitz, and there are people that would like us to clothe every member of their family in Blitz t-shirts.
Yeah, but they don't want you jamming it down their pants
I was gonna say,
without their permission.
And normally, if you give somebody, oh, this is free, thanks. However, when the U2 album was delivered for free, there was backlash.
Big time. At least give me an option. Now what you did was give me a project. I have to figure out how to delete this off my phone.
Can I trade my free U2 album in on an album I really want?
Yeah.
Sorry, sir, it doesn't work that way. Oh, okay. How embarrassing for the band.
Yeah.
Hey, we're giving everybody our new music for free. We don't want it. But it's U2. Still.
Well, and then their world tour right after that happened was a large success. So I don't think U2 suffered at all.
No, probably not.
All right, what you guys got?
I got something.
Okay.
So this happened over in the Netherlands. It's absolutely ridiculous. A 33-year-old man was sentenced to 4 months in jail for stalking after showing up at his ex's home. But he didn't just walk through the front door. He actually shipped himself inside a box to her address.
Oh.
It's unclear if she somehow brought it inside or not, but he emerged from the box, threatened her with a gun, and then took off with her keys to the place. The man told the judge that having himself delivered in a box was, quote, the only way to get in and get my stuff back. So he thought, they broke up. She kicked him out. He still had stuff there, and evidently she wouldn't give it to him, so he thought he'd ship himself to the place in a box, and that's how he would get in to get his stuff back.
The thing is, how you got in was with a gun, so you really didn't need the whole shipping yourself part of it, right?
I mean, if you got a gun, you just
Yeah,
say,
what are we
let
doing
me in,
here?
I want my stuff, The woman put a camera in her home after that, of course, and caught him showing up at her place 3 more times.
And he only got 4 months. I feel like you need to cool your heels for a little longer than 4 months when you're stalking like that. That is heavy stalking.
He claims he had permission for the visits, but the judge didn't buy it, and that's a smart judge. He also granted the woman a 3-year restraining order.
I'm the man in the box. Here to retrieve my stuff.
Oh, God.
It is creative, and you got to appreciate that.
I mean, yeah.
I'm going to ask this girl out on a date. Maybe I'll ship myself to her front door and then pop out with a gun and ask if she'll come out with me.
I ship my drawers.
The box idea was okay. It's where you brought the firearm into play, and that tends to never go well.
Wait, you think that him shipping himself in a box is the okay part of the story?
There's a cute and ingenuitive thing about the shipping yourself in a box to get your stuff back. When you
If you don't have a gun.
If you don't have a gun.
Right, I got
The
you.
minute you pop out of the cake with the firearm, it kind of, you go from cute to criminal.
Right.
Pretty quickly. But anyway, I've got something.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that only 18% of people believe that summer is over now?
Only 18%?
Uh-huh.
Well, according to the calendar.
Calendar says it's still summer for a couple more weeks, right?
A lot. That's what I'm saying. Only 18% of people believe summer is still happening. Everybody else thinks summer's over. Did I say that wrong? I might have said that wrong. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
It was backwards, but I get what you're saying now.
Only 18% of people believe that it's still summer.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
so
the ceremonial end of summer is Labor Day,
it's
right?
Memorial Day to Labor Day.
See how the kids are back in school? It feels like fall. Like we're moving on, right?
Yeah, but it's going to be 90 on Thursday, so.
Yeah.
So
the
summer,
calendar-
it's still summer till what? 2 more weeks?
21st or 22nd,
Something
I think
like
it is
that.
the first official day of fall. But yeah, we still believe what makes you kind of wonder, why don't you just make it, instead of the ceremonial stuff, just make it Memorial Day is the first day of summer, Labor Day is the last day of summer, and call it good.
Then it will be less than 3 months.
Okay. Does that matter, though?
Actually, no, it would be more than 3 months.
It'd be more than 3 months.
because it starts third week of June.
Correct.
Yeah. So you want to back it all up.
Yeah, why? But I mean, if that's what everybody thinks mentally, and you're mentally prepared, because again, how many people? It's the official kickoff of summer.
Well,
and then it's really not, because that's not till June 21st on the summer solstice. But okay,
I don't think it's going to make a big difference.
No. I'm surprised
if
that
people.
only, Are you guys surprised more or less people don't think it's still summer? Or
No, I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I always feel like we've changed into something new once Labor Day happens. We've changed into something new once the kids go back to school. Yeah, it's just a mental thing.
Yeah, I just am kind of, thought everybody with it being, like Rick said, when it's in the 90s, it's still summer until, like, that first, cold bite of morning hits on a consistent basis. But there you go. That's what I got. 6:53 on the Morning Blitz with Dick, Kelly, and Lewis. Sunny, 81 today. It's going to be hot most of the week today, so we're not ending summer just yet. Also, going to get to Notre Dame's epic loss coming up a little bit after 7. But Beetlejuice had a big weekend.
Oh my gosh, huge weekend. $110 million opening.
Yeah, second best September opening of all time.
I cannot wait. Well, and we have plans to see this movie on Saturday, my husband and I and my brother-in-law. So I cannot wait. Do not spoil it. Wait, have you guys seen it?
I have not.
I had a chance to, but I did not go
you
see
passed
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this, and I'm not expecting some type of massive cinematic whatever, but this is Tim Burton. This is Beetlejuice. You cannot go wrong.
I got demons running all through me.
From what I have been told, there are a couple of letdowns, but all in all, it's a pretty good experience. Which, again, I think a lot of that, too, might be built with the fact that it's a 30-plus year hype that you've been waiting for a sequel or another chapter, and that's tough to live up to for anything. So I won't fault anybody for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Few movies have gone that long between sequels and lived up to it. Top Gun Maverick being the only one that I can think of that was actually worth.
Oh gosh, that was huge. I never saw that, and it was so good, wasn't it?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Oh, you haven't seen Maverick?
I have not seen it.
Oh my
and I
God.
love Tom. I didn't love Top Gun, but I do like Tom Cruise.
What are you waiting on?
I don't know. I just
See
never
it.
went.
Oh, it's a very
It's
entertaining
fantastic.
ride. Yeah.
But again, when you wait that long for a sequel, there's a lot of hype.
I really liked the Coming to America sequel.
Coming to America sequel was pretty good.
I loved it.
That didn't get enough love, though, because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know what was good? Beverly Hills Cop, the one they just released on
that was
Netflix.
good, too.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of a sequel, and I'm a fan of even going back to the well and the same jokes. I don't mind it that much if that's not, unless it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, all right, well, this is just the first one, and you're older. But but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I love Winona Ryder. I love Catherine O'Hara. I love Michael Keaton. I really the gal who plays Winona Ryder's daughter,
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega. She looks so perfect for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
Yep,
We'll
it's
see.
in theaters, so check it out.
And now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
A 64-year-old man is dead after being beaten with a skateboard outside a Kroger store near the OSU campus. Columbus police say the attack happened at the North High Street Kroger in the University District Friday afternoon. 64-year-old Timothy Davis was rushed to Wexner Medical Center in critical condition. He died from his injuries yesterday. Officers have arrested 46-year-old Adrian Ashley on murder charges. Day 3 of an intense manhunt in southeastern Kentucky for a freeway shooter who hit 12 vehicles and wounded 5 people Saturday night on I-75 near the small city of London. That's south of Lexington, Kentucky. Authorities have been searching a rugged, hilly area for 32-year-old Joseph Couch. He was named a suspect after his SUV was found on a service road near the crime scene, and then officers found an AR-15 in a wooded area nearby. That AR-15 he purchased that morning, Saturday morning, with about 1,000 rounds of ammunition, and he purchased it in that little city of London. Numerous school districts in Kentucky have canceled classes today while they still search for this guy. Well, in the U.S., solo dining reservations have risen 29% over the last 2 years. According to OpenTable, the number of those dining alone has also risen in Germany, Japan, and the UK, which is presenting an interesting challenge to restaurants that aren't always thrilled to seat a single diner at a table that could fit more. In fact, a Michelin-starred restaurant in London caused a bit of a stir when it announced that if you wanted to dine there by yourself, you would be charged the same price as if you were 2 people. So, yes, they have an 8-course dinner, a tasting menu. It costs $280 per person. If you want to come dine there solo, you pay $560 for that same meal. So they don't like solo diners. But other restaurants are now saying, listen, it's worth seating one person at a table for 2 because those solo diners tend to become loyal repeat customers. So we're happy to have them. But there is a growing trend in restaurants in Japan that they are redoing their entire seating arrangement and changing menus to appeal to solo diners. And they say, like, a lot of people doing the work from home thing, and so they want to change the scenery. They'll go out to eat by themselves. And other people are like, they don't feel alone when they have their smartphone with them. So they're happy to go out and eat alone where they may not have been, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So anyway, it's an interesting little problem, or maybe a not problem, but I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
We found out like a year ago, there's a lot more people going to movie theaters alone.
Yeah.
I love a good movie alone.
I don't mind seeing a movie by myself, but there's something awkward for me to dine alone, and I don't know why. I have friends that don't have any problem with it. My husband, he doesn't mind at all. He'll be maybe up visiting family in Gallia, and he'll be like, he's going to pop into this restaurant and get a bite to eat on his way home. And I'm like, wow, how?
You got TikTok on your phone. You got something to do.
Yeah,
he's fine. You got the internet with you all the time.
Exactly. So. Yeah, people don't feel weird or awkward anymore because they've got a companion, in terms of their phone. So.
I love a movie by myself. Sit there, shut out the world for a couple hours, watch a movie. Unless you're talking. Once the previews start, shut up. I will tell you, too. Straight up. I've done that before. Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like to watch 5 minutes of this movie without hearing your conversation. Well, aren't we just rude? Yes, you are. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, watching a movie alone in a theater, it's dark. You're supposed to be quiet, so it kind of doesn't really matter. I mean, you watch a movie alone at home.
Correct.
You eat alone at home.
You do.
So...
we got Dirty Honey tickets this hour. If you're caller 16 at 800-821-9970, when you hear Smells Like Teen Spirit, that gives you a chance to score those tickets. Again, Smells Like Teen Spirit will play between now and 8 o'clock. And if you're caller 16 at 800-821-9970, you get the tickets. Here's your headline. Are you ready?
Yes.
Florida or not? Guys arrested for yelling at shoppers, throwing bottles at them in an attempt to sell them meth.
Come on.
Florida or not?
It's like, has to be, right?
You tell me. 7:08 on the Morning Blitz. Thick Kelly Lewis, that's Linkin Park. It's sunny and 81 today, but it's going to get hot this week, so get ready for that. Florida or not Florida? Here's your headline. A guy's arrested for yelling at shoppers, throwing bottles at them in an attempt to get them to buy meth. Any guesses?
I mean, it sounds like it should obviously be Florida, but meth is everywhere.
KQ?
Well, The meth capital of the world is apparently California, so I don't feel like you'd have to throw bottles at people to get them to get the meth if it's the meth capital.
Is it
so I was
really?
going to say California, but then I thought, well, if they love their meth in California, you don't have to get their attention with whipping bottles at them.
Okay. Is this going to be like New York or something?
46-year-old Stephen Dexter Bennett was at a mall around 6:20 p.m. last Wednesday. Police rushed on the scene after receiving reports that he was yelling at shoppers trying to sell meth to them. He even threw a bottle at one man, a spokesperson said. No one was seriously hurt. Deputies found nearly 15 grams of meth on Bennett, along with a scale, pipes, and a machete after taking him into custody. Because I guess you don't want anybody coming for your meth. That's when the machete comes into play, I'm assuming. They took him on charges of methamphetamine trafficking, disorderly conduct, battery, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Jail records show he was being held on a $125,000 bond. He's had multiple felony convictions leading to stints in prison, including convictions for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and drug possession, as well as a conviction for battery on a law enforcement officer.
Sounds like a great citizen.
He does. He resides in the Florida Keys. He's
All right.
from Key West.
Yeah, it just felt like it had to be.
So yeah, he was arrested.
Can you have to give us a clue in the story because there's zero way we can tell. These things can happen in every street in America. You have to be giving me a clue. Like, was there a palm tree in the area? Was there, I need a clue in the story.
If I would have said...
If you would have said, the blazing...
Yeah, but if I say it's at the town center located on Overseas Highway...
No, you could say, as the man walked to the mall, feeling the cool breeze of the Atlantic Ocean, or the Gulf Coast, something like that, okay? Because I got to have a shot at this. I like to win.
Well, that Overseas Highway...
That could have been California.
It tells you it has to be someplace where you're going to drive distance over water.
Oh, there was a clue and I just didn't catch it?
Well, he never said that.
Oh, okay.
He said that's why he said if he had added that, would that have helped? Well, maybe.
Well,
I demand a clue. I demand it.
On Wednesday, I will work on getting you a better clue.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Your rock station, 99.7 The Blitz.
All right, so Notre Dame had suffered an epic loss over the weekend, and Rick's been dying to play the audio. We will get to that in 6 minutes. Rob Zombie on the Morning Blitz. It is 7:22 with Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, and Lewis back at it on a Monday. Buckeyes won. That should be a good weekend.
Michigan lost. That should be a good weekend.
Browns and the Bengals both got served.
You had a rough weekend.
I had a terrible weekend.
Your Notre Dame Fighting Irish got shocked.
They did.
Then your Bengals lost. I'm sorry about that. And you probably had to root for the Cowboys. That must have killed you.
I rooted for the Cowboys. I was hoping that the entire AFC North would take a loss this weekend, but they almost managed to kick 6 field goals and pull it out against the Falcons. So,
yeah, Steelers fans are happy. They're the only team in the AFC North that won.
Yeah. Nothing to brag about there, though. Nothing to brag about.
Yeah. It's a long season.
It's only week 1. I know.
I had a lot of Browns fans talking trash to me before the game online. I didn't hear a peep after the game.
Yeah. It was... the saving grace is there. I saw a bunch of comments on the Bengals game, so we're paying Joe Burrow $55 million a year for this. And I can't argue that. I don't have a valid argument. But they showed the list of the top paid quarterback, and I'm sorry, Kelly, because I know this conversation is everything you've wanted to hear.
No, you go right on. I'm enthralled.
With whatever she's looking at on TikTok.
They showed the list of the top paid quarterbacks in the NFL, and I believe outside of Aaron Rodgers, not one of them has won a Super Bowl.
No.
And you're going to pay all those guys $60-something million a year for what?
Well, that's kind of the going rate if you're a franchise quarterback now.
Especially the Justin Herberts and the Trevor Lawrences of the world.
Yeah, that's why it's
in Herbert's case, what? Have they even been to the playoffs?
I don't.
Have
they? I don't think so.
The Herbert tenure.
We'll see, but going back to the Notre Dame game, man, it was just the after the game stuff was priceless. I've got when you listen to the radio calls from one school and then the radio call from the other school, they're very different when a game ends like this. Mm-hmm. So I want to get to those, but real quick, I just had a quick clip of Northern Illinois coach Thomas Hammock right after the game. This giant mammoth of a man, this head football coach, leader of men. I mean, the tears, Kelly. It was water. It was a waterfall down his face as he's talking to this reporter.
I'm so proud of our kids, the coaches, just everybody. They believed. They believed. And we came here and got it done. It's like they my kids. I just couldn't be more proud. I'm sorry.
He's apologizing. He's crying.
You know what? I saw that. I was happy for him.
Oh, I was too. How could you not be?
I mean, Notre Dame paid you $1.4 million because they came in with every intention to kick your ass.
Number 5 team in the country.
And it didn't work that way.
I understand why he's so happy. All right, so if you have no idea how it ended, it was a field goal at the end of the game that Notre Dame tried, which was like 62 yards long. So very difficult field goal in college to make. I don't know what the record is in college, but if you were listening to the Notre Dame radio network, it sounded like this.
Here comes the field goal unit.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Let's go, Mitch Jeter.
He's going to need 62. You got to be kidding me. With the game on the line, 16-14, Huskies lead. This is for the ball game with 5 seconds left. Mitch Jeter, the kick is blocked. Northern Illinois recovers. The clock runs out, and the Huskies have beaten Notre Dame. It's the biggest win in their history.
The hometown radio guys crack me up sometimes. And if you're over listening on Northern Illinois' radio network, it's a little different.
5 seconds left. NIU up 16-14. 62-yarder. Snap, hold, Jeter's kick. It's blocked! It's blocked! It's blocked! Picked up by NIU! Picked up by NIU! The Huskies have done it! The Huskies with the biggest upset in NIU history!
A little different.
Well, that's how you keep your job with a sports network for a certain team.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. I mean, obviously, like, we're not going to be screaming and yelling.
Right.
We didn't scream and yell last year when Michigan beat the crap out of us.
No, we sounded like the Notre Dame network.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to hate Northern Illinois. I mean, obviously, in the home of Buckeye Nation, it's not hard to hate Northern Illinois at all. But even as a Notre Dame fan, I'm like, dude, you got punched in the mouth by a team you shouldn't have got punched in the mouth by, and you didn't respond. You have no one to blame but yourself. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah. Michigan fans can relate to this.
Right.
App State.
Yeah.
Never forget that.
I mean, hey, here's the thing. There's 12 teams in the college playoff. You go undefeated the rest of the way, you're probably going to be one of them.
I don't know. They're not allowed to be a top 4.
Yeah.
Because
they're not going to be good and play a conference championship.
Right. They will never host in that first round of playoffs because they're not allowed to be one of the top 4 teams. No matter what, they could run the table, beat every team 60-0, and they're not allowed to be in the top 4 because they refuse to join a conference because they think they are so much better than everybody else.
Okay, now you're just being...
It's truth.
Now you're just being unnecessarily
It's true.
Smells like teen spirit. Making sure my teen spirit doesn't smell real quick. We're good. 7:38. It's Thick, Kelly, and Lewis on the Morning Blitz. Monday, sunny skies, 81, and congratulations.
Derek Robbins got himself tickets to Dirty Honey.
Nice. Well, more of those tomorrow for you to win right here. But the Linkin Park news dropped last week. We talked all about it. Emily Armstrong, new singer for the band. Emptiness Machine, the new single, which I like.
I do too.
I like the sound, although someone said that she sounds like JoJo Siwa screaming.
Oh, come on.
Please.
Nothing sounds like that.
JoJo's... I have a van of celebrities that I want to leave and drive off a cliff.
And put her in it.
Seacrest, the Kardashian family, JoJo Siwa, and Megan Rapinoe. All of them.
JoJo can drive.
Yeah. Please be in the van. But this Linkin Park thing kind of got out of hand over the weekend. You guys know who Danny Masterson is, right?
Yep.
All right, for Blitz Nation, if you're not playing along at home and don't know, he was the guy on that 70s show that was accused and convicted of raping several women. He's now spending 30 years to life in a prison for his crimes, which he should.
But he got away with for all those years because he's a Scientologist and had the Church of Scientology behind him, sort of covering it up.
Yeah.
And defending him.
They did defend him, yes. For those who don't know what the Scientology is.
I think everyone knows what Scientology is.
Do you? What is it?
I mean, it's a religion made up by a guy who wrote a bunch of science fiction books, and they weren't even very good science fiction books.
Scientology believes in the immortality of each individual's spirit.
Xenu.
Therefore, making death not a significant worry. The spirit acquires another body necessary for growth and survival. The primary goal is to achieve an individual's true identity. That's basically the gist of Scientology. So, Emily Armstrong's a Scientologist. She came out after this whole Danny Masterson controversy and said, "Hi, I'm Emily. I'm new to so many of you, and I wanted to clear the air about something that happened a while back. Several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered a friend and at a court appearance, and went to one early hearing as an observer. Soon after, I realized I shouldn't have. I always try to see the good in people, and I misjudged him. I have never spoken with him since. Unimaginable details emerged, and he was later found guilty. To say it as clearly as possible, I do not condone abuse or violence against women, and I empathize with the victims of these crimes." And that's where her and Linkin Park left it. Now, Masterson did all this between 2001 and 2003. Leading the criticism against Armstrong, Mars Volta singer Cedric Bixler-Savala and his wife, who was one of multiple women who accused Masterson of sexual assault. He was not convicted on the basis of her allegations, but was found guilty of charges brought by two other anonymous accusers. They asked, "Do friends know about your friend Danny Masterson?" And they posted it on Dead Sarah's page last year. He's surprised that he wrote on the band's page, "I'm surprised none of you wrote a letter on Danny Masterson's behalf since your corny-ass singer showed up to support him in the prelims. Remember, Emily? Remember how you and your fellow Scientologist goon squad surrounded one of the Jane Does when she was trying to leave the elevators? The court sheriff had to escort away her from your awful cult. How do you reconcile the homophobia found in the teachings of your founder's book at the time of the article's publication?" Armstrong had yet to respond.
Is Emily Armstrong still a Scientologist? Do we know that?
That I do not know. I'm just going through, this is the gist of what came out over the weekend and what was said.
Now, what I will say, as a human being, you have a friend who is accused of something heinous. You can't believe that your friend did that. You're going to support your friend. I mean, absolutely. But in the face of all the evidence, you're like, yeah, I can't support this.
Right.
Which is exactly what happened here in her case. She supported a friend. She couldn't believe these accusations could be true.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she found out and saw the evidence, she didn't go back to any other court proceedings.
No.
She didn't write a letter like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis did. She didn't do any of that.
Right.
So to bury this poor woman in hate comments is absolutely ridiculous.
Keyboard gangsters.
And misplaced.
Yeah, see, that's where I saw a lot of people who started bashing her for being a Scientologist. And my problem with that is you don't have to agree. This is where Rick and I were kind of having a fight earlier. You don't have to agree with the principles of Scientology. You don't have to follow the principles of Scientology. But this country was founded on freedom of religion, which gives individuals the right to be Catholic, Protestant, Methodist, Scientologist, or whatever you want. You can start whatever religion you want. I don't have to like your religion. I don't have to believe in your religion, but I don't need to hate you for your religion, because if you're going to hate her for being a Scientologist, do you hate Jewish people because they don't believe in Jesus?
Well, I don't think that's a fair comparison, number one. I don't think just because somebody... Yeah. If I come out and say that I believe in something nutso,
but
you don't have to support me just because we have freedom of religion in this United States. You can choose, because you have freedom too, to say, I don't support you and I don't support your stance in life. That is crazy to me. So I'm not going to stand here and support you. I support your ability to do that, but I can also choose to not support you because of it. I mean, there's a bunch of freedoms we're talking about here.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
So if somebody hates her because of Scientology, whatever. Who cares? You're allowed to do that.
Okay. So here's my question, and here's the question with all of this. Have you ever supported someone and then you found out that something that they did was so egregious that you can't look back from? You can't go back on?
I mean, listen, I will say this in just a sort of a celebrity sort of version of this, because I don't really have a personal story, but I will say when all the stuff came out about Matt Lauer, I love Matt Lauer. I thought he was amazing. I really thought he was just so great, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, this cannot be true. But then it was true. And so I'm like, Matt Lauer can dive off the end of the earth. I don't care what happens to Matt Lauer. I'm not a fan anymore because of it.
I used to think Matt Lauer was one of the best interviewers ever.
Yeah, he was great. And it was so shocking to hear all of this. It was just hard to ingest and hard to believe. But you have to believe it because the evidence is there.
Undisputed. So that's the question. Have you ever had a friend that you could no longer support because they did something that was so egregious? It's the Morning Blitz, 749, Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. Talking a little bit about the Emily Armstrong controversy that came out after she was named the new lead singer for Linkin Park. And asking the question, has somebody ever done something so egregious that's your friend that you can no longer support them and you can't go back from? In her case, she was friends with Danny Masterson until she heard the evidence when she went to see him and support him in court and realized that she was taking the wrong side. But a lot of people don't seem to give her the benefit of not knowing. They want to just kind of throw stones at her.
I think the one thing I really don't like about it all is you are acting like she's the one who committed the crimes. All right, we're talking about a friend, somebody on the periphery here. I don't like that energy when it's so... I don't know. There's just so much vitriol and anger spewed at somebody who committed no crimes. Mm-hmm. They were initially just being a friend to somebody they'd known a long time. So I don't like that energy coming from the public at large against somebody who is a human being who did nothing wrong.
No, and she's never come out and said she's a Scientologist. She attended a gala apparently in 2013 for a Scientology thing, and then she obviously was at Masterson's 2020 trial. But her statement issued said she, heard what was going on and went, yeah, I can't support you, sorry.
Yeah, she heard the evidence and said, F you, don't call me anymore.
Kind of walked away.
Oh, man.
We're always looking for someone to hate, aren't we?
I know, man. Why?
Always looking to gang up on somebody.
So I asked the question, have you ever walked away from someone that you can't support after something happened that's so egregious? Sean said, I had a friend years ago accused of armed robbery and attempted manslaughter. He swore his innocence, and he even had me stand in the trial as a character witness until the evidence proved he did it. So after he confessed, I was so embarrassed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that stings. Mm-hmm. When you give somebody that kind of support and you believe in them, and then you find out, you've been scammed.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, I have friends that, I know have done some wrong things, but I don't think they've done anything that I've been you know what I mean?
Yeah. One thing that it reminds me of, and I'm not going to tell your story for you, Thick, but it was a story that you have told in the past about a dear friend who was a drug addict. Yeah. And it's like you love them, you support them through their, times trying to get sober. And, there's so many stories of people who have supported a family member or dear friend, of somebody who just could not kick the habit, could not get sober after multiple tries and just kept sort of, because of the addiction, crapping on family and stealing and doing all the horrible things. And at some point, you just have to say, I've got to, whatever, the tough love thing they say, I've got to walk away from this. Yeah. And those are the heartbreaking situations.
Mm. Oh, for sure.
Mike said, I love Linkin Park. Glad they're back. She made a misjudgment. Can't we leave it at that? Let rock and roll be rock and roll, not crucify her.
Yeah, I just don't, like Kelly said, she's not the one. It's not like she held Masterson's hand while he locked the chick in the room. Like, I mean, it's, she's not an accomplice. I get more why people don't like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, because they wrote letters after the facts had already been presented.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Oh, hey, let's write letters and hope he gets leniency. Nah, you guys both should have walked away before those letters were ever written. For her, hey, I went to a trial and then I heard this stuff and I'm like, oh, damn, no, sorry, I'm out. It's a little bit different, but I don't know. It's just weird the way we live in an internet world now that I wonder how, like, if we didn't live in how many people would even know this? You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't see it anymore. I mean, there were probably some people, I would venture, there were probably some people in the early 90s who were friends of the late O.J. Simpson that supported O.J. Simpson, and had it got out that they supported O.J. Simpson in 2024 America, they probably would have been canceled.
I know, Thick Rick, I'm sorry, I keep bringing up your stories for you, but I'm like anxious for you to tell this, too, about Marilyn Manson. And all the accusations, but I mean, you're an enormous Manson fan, and number one was hard for you to believe at first, but even though more and more people came forward, but then, as you always say, he's not been convicted of anything, and people have recanted, or at least one woman recanted. So it's been sort of a struggle for you in this area of where do you drop support for someone that you're just such a huge fan of?
It is difficult, and I mean, a couple of the things he was accused of are pretty nasty, and it's like, dude, if this is true, I mean, and he's been off the tour circuit now. He just got back on after 2.5 years, something like that. I think this is the first time he's toured since the pandemic. So in 4 years, this is the first time he's been on tour, and he's reviving the defamation lawsuit against Evan Rachel Wood. She was one who accused him of sexual assault. Manson says all the facts were not considered when his original claims were dismissed, including the one girl that took back her story. That girl was a singer, Manson alleged that Wood forged an FBI letter from a real agent in order to harm his image and make it seem like he was under federal investigation while his victims were in danger. And according to Rolling Stone, Manson also claims that Wood recruited and pressured others to make untrue accusations about him. And the one girl that had supposedly done that admitted it, that Evan Rachel Wood convinced her to lie about Manson. So I hear that, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to think?
I'm glad you said the word lie, because Steve said, did Emily miss the part where he was arrested for rape? And I feel like there are a lot of times where certain words get thrown out and people get arrested for things, and then it comes out later. Now, if I were a guy, I would never want that word associated with me, but until you hear the evidence, and the evidence is clear cut.
How many stories have we heard about people saying, that they knew somebody that they got in a domestic, an argument, and somebody's got to be arrested, so they took the guy out of the house, or they took the girl out of or the woman out of the house, and it's like, then it gets all worked out. And afterwards.
If you're a guy, there are two words when you're in a relationship that you don't want being thrown up and being accused of, especially if you're innocent. And one is rape, the other is, oh, he hit me. Those are the two things you don't want associated with you.
Now, I will say that hearing about Danny Masterson, number one, being in Scientology, like one of those just coveted celebrities that they love in that religion, and number two, having multiple women come forward, to me, it's a no-brainer. This guy gets arrested for rape, and I'm like, finally. Right. These women have been saying this for years. So finally. I totally agree with the person who wrote that in. Did she miss that part? But, it is a little different when you're dealing with a friend, somebody you've known a long time, and you're hoping is innocent of these terrible charges.
Right. And how many times I'm sure guys have went, hey, they're just saying this against me. You know me. I didn't do any. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's been in that type of situation. People said Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Yeah.
The watch Cosby, loved Cosby for years, and after that stuff came out, done.
Courtney texted in, and Courtney, I can relate. I know exactly what this is about. Was good friends with somebody who went off the deep wagon into QAnon. She said, I stopped hanging out with them because it became their whole personality, and they started to dislike people that didn't believe in the lizard people. Very weird. And yeah, Courtney, I've been there.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. You just gotta, I guess...
There's conspiracy theorists.
Make sure you know all the facts before you cast judgment, I guess, is the moral of the story.
That's exactly what a lizard person would say.
And now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
The funeral for NHL hockey star Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew will be held today in suburban Philadelphia. They were hit and killed August 29th while bicycling near their family home in Salem County, New Jersey. The suspect, Sean Higgins, reportedly told police he had several beers before the accident. The funeral will be live streamed by the Columbus Blue Jackets. The mother of the teenager accused of killing 4 people at a Georgia high school says she called the school before the shooting to warn about what she believed was an extreme emergency. The Washington Post reports that records show Marcy Gray called the Appalachian High School about a half hour before the shooting and was on the phone for about 10 minutes. Gray says she was the one who notified a counselor at the school and told them it was an extreme emergency and they needed to immediately check on her son. 14-year-old Colt Gray is being charged with 4 counts of felony murder for last week's shooting. Well, whether it was an epidural buzz, pressure from the family, or simply desperation to come up with a name for their newborn, almost 10% of mothers say they regret what they named their baby. A new survey out shows nearly 1 in 10 of women ages 18 to 44 had differing reasons for that regret. Some say they felt the name didn't match the baby once the baby arrived, while others said that people making jokes about the name or any criticism they were getting from family or friends that caused them to sour on the name once they'd chosen it in the hospital. So about 6% of those parents who have baby name regret say they did go on to legally change their baby's name.
Wow.
Which can be a bit of a lengthy process, but that is how much they hated the original name that they gave their kid. So I thought that was really interesting. I have heard at least one in particular person who said that they hated the name so much that they did change their kid's name when he was 2 years old. They went ahead with a name change at the age of 2. That's how much they could not get over how much they hated the name.
But
I don't know.
Letting other people dictate it, though, is weird. Because, you love the name Maverick. You said that.
I love it.
And Lewis said that's a horrible name to give your kid.
Yeah. That wouldn't bother me, though. I'd still name my kid Maverick, even though Lewis hates it.
Right.
But the thing is, one of those things that you didn't really consider the rhyming that could take place with a name, like the famous Seinfeld name Dolores.
Right.
Rhyming with the female body part. You don't think of that because you love the name Dolores, right?
Yeah.
But then once your family starts rhyming it, then you're like, oh man, I hate this name now. Darn it.
Dolores Bleep Oris. Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'd love to know if you regretted what you named your baby. You can text us 99700. Those are your 3 things.
8:11 on the Morning Blitz with Dick, Kelly, and Lewis. Good morning. We'll see sunny and 81 today in central Ohio, so that's not too shabby. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
No, usually you comment after I say something about the weather. But you didn't comment, so that's why I asked if you were okay. For a moment, I was worried. I'm good. Okay.
All right, real quick, we got a couple names. Doug says people called him Ugly Dougly. William Butt says, I didn't regret what I named any of my kids, but it was very, very hard not to ruin them for life because of our last name, Butts.
That's what I said. It's good as long as you don't name one of them Seymour.
And then somebody texted, how about the famous Smelly Kelly? And that's right. I got Smelly Kelly a lot in my life.
Did you?
Yeah.
To me, that's the easy way.
Smelly Kelly, sure. Kelly Belly, Kelly's belly's full of jelly, all kinds of stuff.
I like when you put thought into it.
Yeah, love it.
Because if you put thought into it, then I'm like, oh, that's a good one. Okay. When it's the one that everybody uses, okay.
Yeah.
I
wish we could talk about Thick Rick's nicknames, but he doesn't want me to say his real last name on the radio. It's a secret.
It's part of his breakdancing handle.
Yes, that's right.
Terrible. Terrible.
Part of he doesn't want his secret out there.
You guys, nobody's had name shots like I have.
Have either of you guys ever told a lie that totally backfired?
Yes.
Wow.
Out of the gate.
The last person I would have expected to fire off first, but coming in hot, Kelly Quinn.
I was in 5th grade. we were doing a math test, which was self-graded. So the teacher was going through and I was terrible at math. Like, it was my worst subject. Known by the teacher, obviously. My grades were not good. But during this math test, she would do each problem, and I would have the wrong answer, but I erased it and put the right answer in when she said what it was. So she was going around the class. She's like, did anybody stand up if you only got 3 wrong? And so a few people stood up. Stand up if you only got 2 wrong. And about, 10 people stood up. Stand up if you got none wrong. And I stood up. I was the only one who stood up. My freaking sheet was full of erase marks. You know how you smudge like you can't erase cleanly.
Right.
With your number 2 pencil. So it was obvious that I had changed almost all the answers. She put my name up on the board, knowing full well that I was going to be absolutely ashamed the entire week staring at my name up there because it was all a lie. And my conscience, like, I was sweating it. I got sick to my stomach. I was that whole week. It was just an awful feeling of guilt. And I know she knew what she was doing because she knew I was terrible at math and that I cheated. So, yes, I did tell a lie.
What grade?
5th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. It's about 11 years old. Yeah, it was something I did not ever want to repeat. I was almost more proud to be stupid in math after that, to be like, at least I'm honest. Well, at least I can live with my conscience.
Did you go and tell her?
No.
You never said a word to anybody?
I never said a word.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Never
so you
said
still
a word.
let them all believe it.
Heck yeah.
But you regret
But
it.
I sat there every day with a stomach ache, looking at my name up there really big as having the perfect score on the math test.
And you still regret it to this day.
I feel sick almost talking about it. I almost feel nervous talking about it. It was such like a big lie for me.
You can probably let that go now.
Yeah, I'll try. All right, you guys?
Have you guys ever told anyone that you were dating someone from a different school?
Like George Glass?
Like George Glass.
A guy told his classmates that he had a girlfriend at a different school, but one kid's mom was a teacher there and confirmed that the girl didn't exist. A kid wrote her sister's name on a wall in crayon and tried to frame her for it, but she was too young and didn't know how to write yet. So have you ever told a lie that backfires? That's Red Sun Rising on the Morning Blitz, 825. Thick Rick. Kelly Quinn, I'm Lewis. Good morning. Ever tell a lie that backfired? That's on our social media if you would like to respond to that. You don't even have to use your name. You can just say it's someone I know, in air quotes.
Yeah, my old girlfriend from Oklahoma was going to fly out here for the dance, but she couldn't because she's doing some modeling right now.
Yeah. When you date someone at a different school, you run that risk.
George Glass. That was a classic Brady Bunch episode.
Someone pretended to be blind because they thought glasses were cool. Their parents paid for 3 different doctors before one realized it was a lie.
On the same vein, somebody said, I had an eye appointment in 2nd grade, told my teacher my vision was so amazing that the eye doctor said I had 40-40 vision. It was actually 20/20, but I fibbed. I thought 40-40 sounded better.
That's funny.
Oh, gosh.
Kid went to their friend's house after school and told mom their parents knew they were there, but they had no idea, and then reported the kid missing.
Oh, my gosh. Dustin Fight texted in high school, told my mom I was going to stay after school to pursue clay pottery turning, when in reality I had after-school detention. A few weeks go by, and I'm thinking I'm in the clear until the school sent home a letter. Lost my license for a month.
Wow.
Took away the driver's license.
Stacey said in 2nd grade, we had hamsters in our classroom, show and tell. I did not get a chance to touch the hamster, so I lied to my parents and told them I forgot my homework at school, so they would take me to school or I would hold the hamster. Ended up fighting me, and I dropped it, and it got loose in the school, and I ended up getting 2 cracks from the principal.
2 swats?
Yeah.
Swats from the paddle?
Wow.
For that? Wow.
Can't let rodents go running around. I was telling you guys on the air, it's got to be harder in today's social media-driven world to lie than it ever has been before.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? Oh, man, I'm sick. I'm not coming into work. And then you go to you go to a game, and you're in a group of people, and all of a sudden they tag you. Oh, you were too sick to go to work? Must have had fun at that game today.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you see that. I see people do that all the time. They lie about something, and then you see a post online, and it's like, you just made yourself, you just got yourself caught lying.
Right.
It seems like a lot of these stories are, though, when with like kids, elementary school, or where this person said, I pooped in the doghouse when I was 8 years old. I tried to blame the dog, but my mom said, the dog doesn't poop where it sleeps. They went in and pooped in the doghouse.
Why?
Because you're 8.
Okay, yeah, right.
That's what you do when you're 8. I'm trying to think if I ever told a lie. I'm sure I have. I just can't think of one.
I couldn't come up with one either. A little white lie that blew up.
I guess. Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I have. It probably happened yesterday, and I just don't. I just blot it out. Right.
I'm tired of your goddamn rock and roll, anything goes lifestyle.
This is your Blitz Rock Rundown, the Monday morning edition.
Rock and roll!
Before we jump into the Blitz Rock Rundown, congratulations. And we had Andrew Schultz tickets up for grabs, and Mud Shovel by Stain was the song you were listening for, so congratulations to
Mercedes Bedecker from Columbus, Ohio got those tickets.
Nice job. Now, 8:38, Kelly, Vic, Lewis, joined by Tess, your Blitz Rock Rundown.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Can I tell you what happened to me this morning?
Sure.
So, my eyes, I woke up completely bloodshot. My cat is like a cotton ball with a tail, and I was sleeping on my side, and I wake up, and he's sleeping on my side, but his butt is near my face. So his floofy tail, like a feather duster, was whacking me in the face.
Oh, man, he has got a tail, too.
Yeah, he's really floofy. So my eyes, I'm like, okay, it's either allergies or pink eye, one of the two. I don't know. But I'm like struggling to see right now. Because my eyes are all blurry and goopy.
They do look kind of swollen, your lids.
Yeah. It's the cat,
Swollen
I swear.
lids.
It's allergies.
That's what I'm going to say.
Pop
That's what
some
we're going
Zyrtec, baby. You'll be good. You can swat at your face all night with that tail.
You sure it wasn't from crying yourself to sleep last night after that Browns game?
I was half paying attention after the first half. That was so annoying. Congratulations, though.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, your husband, my son, was at the house with me yesterday watching the game, and at halftime I said, do you think Tess is home watching the game? He goes, I hope not.
Yeah, someone should probably check on Tess.
Right.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about Linkin Park.
All right.
After all those, count-ups and countdowns, sorry, Kelly. You just love those. Linkin Park did that live stream on their YouTube channel, and they performed with their new frontwoman, Emily Armstrong, formerly of the band Dead Sarah. Now, Mike Shinoda handles a lot of the vocals, and Emily drops in the way Chester used to. And they performed some of Linkin Park's hits during the live stream. Here's their performance of Somewhere I Belong.
I hadn't heard that one yet.
And then they performed Bleed It Out.
I'll go to this show all day.
I like how they sound together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say it doesn't sound like there's a difference, but
yeah, between
Chester, because there's
a difference.
But when they're singing together, it's hard to tell.
I will go to that show.
Well, yeah, I've always been a proponent of a female voice.
Have you played their new track yet?
Why are you laughing at me? What did I say?
I've always been a proponent of the female.
I'm an advocate for women's rights.
The Emptiness Machine.
Yeah.
Already under my skin, and I know exactly how this ends. I let you cut me open.
I got to tell you, I'm just ecstatic that someone named a song after my life. Like, that's impressive.
The emptiness
That's
machine.
impressive in itself. Not everybody can say that.
I'll let you cut me open just to watch me bleed. That sounds like a Chester line, but I don't know who wrote these lyrics for the new album.
I would imagine Mike Shinoda.
You think he wrote it all?
Probably. That's what I think. Well, their new album, From Zero, comes out on November 15th, and then a quote-unquote world tour with 6 dates. I think most of them outside of the U.S. One's in L.A. and the other's in New York. All right, so that was the big news story of this past week. So I decided to do something a little different and talk about jobs that rock stars had before they got famous. This is fun. We'll start with Chester. He worked at a Burger King before his days in Linkin Park. He said, I just need to make $100 a week so I can eat.
Right.
Rob Zombie, he was a production assistant on the set of Pee-wee's Playhouse before White Zombie. Before Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch got famous, he lived with a guy in L.A. who used to do editing for different porn companies in the area, and they'd rent out a part of their house for these people to come in and shoot porn, and that would pay for their rent for the month. So it made it easier for him not to have to always work. Could you imagine?
Actually,
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
Lewis is about to open one up right now.
I was just thinking.
Like, this is great.
Is
Side
this legal?
job.
Can you do this?
I want to buy stock in Lysol. Because you're going to be needing to spray that down every day, man.
Got to cut the shoot short, or cut the show short today, guys. Got a big shoot I got to get to. I'm just supervising.
Before Ozzy got famous, he worked at a slaughterhouse where he actually had to cut the cow carcasses open.
Ugh. So, hypothetically, if I were to open my place up for porn shoots, would that give me the title of executive producer?
Yes.
So I could get a license plate that said exec prod?
Yeah.
I feel like that would get annoying.
I feel like you can get the license plate now and just skip the whole disgusting part of it.
Excuse me, I am not going to lie about what I do.
Oh, Lewis is even going to stand in if somebody has to call in sick.
Oh, no.
Absolutely. Don't worry, I got this. No casting call needed. I know what I got to do to keep this shoot going.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, I'm moving on now.
Okay.
I'm going to linger for a while.
Let that one simmer. Your face. I love it. Tony Iommi's day job before Black Sabbath is actually the reason Sabbath's songs sound as dark as they do. He was working in a sheet metal factory and had an accident, and the tips of his fingers were cut off. And he had to down-tune his guitar to make it easier to play, which led to the deep riffs that we know and love today.
That's cool.
Oh, more porn. Before Corey Taylor got famous, he worked as a sales associate at a porn shop, and that's where he wrote the lyrics, all of the lyrics for Slipknot's self-titled album. So there you go. You could write an album, too.
Carrie texted in, a man of principle Lewis is.
See? Thank you. Thank you, Carrie.
All right. Do I have time for a couple more?
Sure.
Wait.
What?
Wait.
I completely missed it.
Wait, Steve said that guy that was going to rent you the room does it, and you were going to be in the show.
I can't argue with that. There's a possibility when the question was, you don't have to be necessarily alone, do you? So, maybe.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. This is, not porn, but Tom Morello went to Harvard, and he said after he graduated, he was literally starving, so he worked odd jobs, including one as an exotic dancer. Yep. He
Morello.
said brick house was his jam. She's a brick.
Can't unsee that.
So he worked at gay clubs.
Right?
I'm trying not to see them.
Was It's Raining Men #2 there on his list?
He said he did bachelorette parties and he'd go down to his boxers.
Oh.
He said he could make decent money doing that job.
Oh, he did it. Got down to the boxers. No, I like that style.
Oh, Kelly wants to see that.
Yeah, because I don't really like banana hammocks. I like a boxer, so that sounds more cute than it does chip Chippendales. I was going to say the Chipmunks.
Kelly, I guess it depends on which Chippendale shows up.
Kelly's going to let him do an encore of Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Yeah.
You got any 70s disco? We love that.
Okay, I'll do one more. Noodles of the Offspring, he was a janitor at a school, even while the Offspring were on the rise. He said he was still working there when they were blowing up because he promised the boss that he wouldn't quit until the end of the school year. He said, there was this one high school girl that I knew, and she used to see me in the morning and say to me, man, what are you doing? I just saw you on MTV. So he was working as a high school janitor while he was getting famous for the Offspring. I have a couple more, but...
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Before Sammy Hagar became David Lee Roth's replacement in Van Halen, and we're going back to when he was 4, picking raspberries to buy shoes for school.
Wow.
Years later, he ran the music department at a store and then spent a few months driving a dump truck in New York. Okay, last one. Before Jacoby Shaddix of Papa Roach became famous, he worked at a hospital in the intensive care unit as a janitor, cleaning up all those dirty towels.
Ooh, gross.
Yeah. He said all that nasty stuff.
Rod Stewart was a gravedigger.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And morbid.
Right.
Jeez.
Rod Stewart likes a big Speedo. It's a British thing. That's what they wear to the beach. 8:52 on the morning blitz with Dick, Kelly, and Lewis. Following up, we were talking about the job Ivan Moody had where he rented out his place for porn shoots, and
I have never seen someone so stuck on a topic in my life.
I'm moving away from that.
Oh, okay.
I was just setting up where we're going, and someone texted in and said the guy that was going to rent you a room probably wanted to do that for you. I looked at the post earlier because Kelly called the apartment complex. It's been posted like 3 different times. There's 3 different of the same post now.
Oh, wait. What do you... Explain the story.
So on Marketplace, where I saw the room for rent, you called the apartment complex.
Well, okay. Can I tell it?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. Lewis went to see a room for rent. It was in an apartment complex. Some guy was trying to sublease 1 bedroom in the place. So Lewis went to look for it. He got a scammy vibe right off the bat. It ticked me off because the guys tried to jam Lewis for double what he said in the ad, in the post on Facebook Marketplace. So I called the apartment complex. I asked, do you allow subletting? They said no. And I said, well, let me give you the entire biography on this guy who's trying to sublet a bedroom in your complex. She asked for all the information. I gave it all, handed it to her on, what was that, Thursday. And that now there are 3 different ads for the same room.
Same thing.
Oh, well, I did my part, Lewis. I did everything I could for you.
You did. So I don't know if he did, just took it down and reposted it, or...
Oh, I see. Maybe he... Yeah. I don't know.
Weird.
I tried. That ticked me off. As soon as you said he tried to double up on the cost of that really made me mad. And let me tell you something. It's super easy to call and rat someone out. It's so easy. Like, it took me no time. I would say I had all his information handed over to this person within 60 seconds of her answering the phone. It was breezy, and it made me feel great when I hung up the phone.
As you should.
So if anybody tries to really, screw your friends on things like that, I really encourage you to make a phone call.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like Karening at all. It felt like I was doing you a solid.
Well, this guy,
service.
Yeah. I mean, how many complaints were there online about that guy?
Yeah, he has some pretty bad reviews on there. Some good ones, but
other people he tried to double charge if they were alone.
That's right.
Yeah, I never got that. What do you want me to shack up with like 3 randos so you can charge us all?
I think
maybe there were cameras.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Again, maybe Steve wasn't that far off.
Telling you what, there will come a time where some kind of bad news story will circulate here in the fine Columbus Metro, and when it does, this guy's going to be a part of it. Watch.
You. Oh, no, that guy that was trying to rent you the room.
Yeah, not this guy meaning me. I mean that guy.
Because either would not surprise me.
Well, fair point.
And now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
If you hold cryptocurrency in Binance, you need to pull your money out today. Now, Binance is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, and it is shutting down all Ohio accounts tomorrow. Why? because the Ohio Division of Financial Institutions informed the company that they will be revoking their money transmission license in the state. That is happening now. You need to move your money out today. If you don't, your money will eventually be sent to the Ohio Division of Unclaimed Funds, where you can get it there. The Mega Millions jackpot is getting up there. Nobody matched all 6 numbers in Friday night's drawing, so tomorrow's drawing is worth $800 million. Well, here's something I do not need, New York City. You can keep your silliness there. New warning labels are coming to the menus of chain restaurants and coffee shops in New York City starting next month. There's something called the city's Sweet Truth Act, which is requiring restaurants to warn customers of menu items that contain at least 50 grams of added sugar. Now, if I'm ordering said thing, I'm assuming I am getting a crap ton of sugar. That's why I'm ordering it. So I don't need you to calorie shame me and sugar gram shame me over it. The measure was signed into law by Mayor Eric Adams last year, and restaurants that fail to comply will face hundreds of dollars in fines. I am honestly telling you that those calorie counts and, all the nutritional information on a menu ruins my dining experience. I'm not kidding, because I'm already knowing that I'm not eating well. Like, I'm sitting in a restaurant because I want a good meal. I'm going to order something that's delicious. That isn't something I would normally fix for myself. I'm assuming it's loaded with calories. I don't need the truth about it right in front of me. I don't need you ruining my experience, or perhaps making me change my order, because now I don't want to have to worry about working off 5,000 calories.
See, and it's funny, my daughter Danielle, she wants it. She goes by it. She orders food off the menu based on it.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to be careful what she eats, and it's like, I'm with you, Kelly. I don't need to see it. I'm just going to get what I want.
Yeah, if I'm going out, I want something special. It's a treat, and I don't need to have you doing the math for me in terms of my calorie intake.
But because I've heard this before, I've heard that a lot of restaurants will add more sugar to food. They'll just add sugar to make it taste better.
Oh, okay.
And so is that what we're talking about? I mean, I don't know.
Just anything that has more than 50 grams of sugar in it, they're going to have to tell you.
Okay, they have to give the exact amount, or just say it's over 50 grams?
I don't know. Oh. I don't know the details of how they have to list it, but they do have to list it.
I don't need to know. Don't care. I don't, whether I know or not, I'm ordering what I want.
Right. You think I'm going into Grater's for a double scoop and I'm wanting to know the calorie count of that? I absolutely do not.
Yeah.
Don't want anything to do with how much I'm consuming. Just let me consume it, please.
Right. Yes.
All right. Those are your 3 things.